Alright, what's going on, everybody? My name is Nikita Nazarov, and today I wanted to start a brand new franchise mode with the Washington Capitals. I've been trying to start up a few over the last, I want to say, year probably, ever since I got the game. Um, we are recording as of March 26th, 2026, and I've had the game since November 2025, but I never got to truly posting anything on the social platforms, period, whether it's TikTok or it's YouTube. So I'm hopefully gonna be able to get the series going once and for all, and we hopefully don't have to do any more deleting of files that I've created over time. There's been different franchise modes. I've had to unlist some, I've had to delete others, but here we are. I'm going to start with my favorite team. Um, and I just wanted to give you guys a little background as to how the settings are going to look for this franchise mode as well, so you're aware of what's on and what's off. So owner mode 100% is off. It just doesn't work properly in this game. Head coach edit lines will also be off. I want to make sure I do my own lines and the computer trades. And then when it comes to the rule settings, so we're going to go through this really quickly. I'm going to do some gameplay, so don't expect this to just be sim all and be all. I'm definitely going to jump into some games. We'll see how it goes, and we'll get the timing and the amount of games I get into over time as we go through this series. But I definitely want to have an in-depth kind of like franchise mode where I look at every single angle, and with the fact that some features are limited, like for example, you can't have three-team trades, or you can't have a broker team. Again, that's not even just a three-team trade, but you can't even, for example, have a broker within the trade to be able to get you to retain 50% of a particular contract so that you can retain the other 50%. Now, I believe in the new CBA they took that out, but that was something that's never been in the game before. But that's just one example that I could bring up that would definitely help and go a long way towards making this franchise mode feel not just more realistic but easier to play. I'm going to make sure the season tiebreakers, so in the regular season, we're going to have continuous overtime. The way the games are decided in real life, where you have 5 minutes of 3-on-3 overtime, and then you have a shootout, I understand why it's in the game, but that's not the fairest way to decide who the winner is. With continuous overtime, still gives a chance to the team that made it past 60 minutes to at least get a point, and the team that'll get the extra point on top will be the one that actually wins. It's going to be 5-on-5 hockey, and it's going to be until whoever scores the next goal, which I think just makes sense from a lot of perspectives. It's the same thing on international play as well, which I've had an issue with in the past. You have shootouts in the quarterfinals, for example. Um, this year they introduced 3-on-3 overtime for 10 minutes and then shootout, but even with the increased 3-on-3 overtime going from 5 to 10 minutes, I still don't feel like that does justice to the team that loses. So I just wanted to get that out of the way, just so we're clear as to why certain teams are going to be in the playoffs, certain ones are not going to be, and their records are going to change because of that. But again, this is only to make it, like I said, more realistic, at least from my perspective. Doesn't mean it's perfect, but that's the way I would like to set it up. For the sim engine scoring as well as the shot frequency, I made sure that I tuned down the shot frequency to medium, and I tuned up the sim engine scoring from medium to high, and that way we're actually gonna have more realistic scoring in the league. You're gonna have more players that actually put up these ridiculous numbers versus when you boot a franchise mode with the settings that EA already had for you. You're not gonna be able to see guys like Connor McDavid putting up 100 points consistently. It's gonna be very low scoring, very low event kind of hockey, which if you think about it, is more of the hockey that we came out of from in the 90s. And then as the game continued to evolve, the scoring picked back up after the new CBA was introduced in 2005. So we are just making sure that we're evolving with the game, and that I don't know how that's going to exactly play in gameplay. I don't know if that's going to have effect on gameplay. All I know is that if you sim games, it's definitely going to have that impact. on the simulation. Now, injury occurrence. What's funny is I actually tried running an offline franchise mode myself the other night, and injury occurrence at 50 was not even that bad. I don't know if that was because it was pure luck, but I'll try to turn it down to maybe I would say 30 out of 100. And then from there, we'll just kind of see how it goes. But um, I'm going to make sure that it stays at that level. For CPU, for example, I'm going to make it so it's 40 out of 100 because usually your team is the one that doesn't get the benefit of the doubt when it comes to certain stats at the end of the night. So um, the computer is just going to, my own computer, at least in this case, is going to have the benefit of the doubt. Meanwhile, the opposing's team is going to be one where I feel like it's fair. So we're going to try that for now. We'll see how it goes, but um, that's where I'm going to have the numbers at. So with all that being said, I'm ready to start off the franchise mode. There's no trading in year one because I've updated the rosters as of March 26th, 2026, which means we're already past the deadline in real life, which means no more trades can be done. Technically, you can make trades, it's just the players that you acquire cannot participate in your lineup until the following season. So we're just going to treat it as if we're in March 26th, but we're just going to sim throughout the whole year where league-wide there's no trades, and we're going to see who does what. And I've already updated the contract situation. Everything's taken care of in terms of the up-to-date rosters. It's not going to be a perfect save file. Not every prospect is created. Not every guy is going to be where you want him to be in terms of overall or potential. But these are the rosters that me and my friend worked on for the longest time. And the ratings of some of these players is what we came up with going into this year. With all that being said, I'm excited to jump into this franchise mode. We'll see how it progresses, and I'm looking forward to going through with my favorite team, the Washington Capitals. All right, so I already went ahead and already made some executive decisions in my first couple of days as a GM. We got Alex Ovechkin extended. I'll show the contract afterwards. David Kemp as well. Connor McMichael has rejected our offer, so we're gonna get back to him and see if we can extend him. Hendrik Lapierre is also not interested in coming back, so we're gonna work with those couple of guys, and we'll see if there's something I can cook up. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and send out this offer to Connor McMichael, but I'm not going any higher than 5.5. He's asking for 4.975. That's clearly gonna be below the contract bar that we want to be at so that he's able to accept because he's not there. I have to get him at least across that last bar, that second to last bar. And at 5.5, it allows us just to be barely over that line. So hopefully that's going to go through. Here, there's not really much I can say about Hendrix Lapierre other than he's gonna have to come down in his asking price because I'm not paying an unproven young player 3.5 million for a 2-year contract. Okay, so yeah, we should be able to strike something here with Hendrix Lapierre. I'm just gonna make sure to give him 2 million for a year. I'm willing to do that. However, I'm not going any further than that. We're basically not close to what he's looking for. So in that case, there's not really much I can do. I'm going to leave him unsigned for a little bit. We're going to see how it goes. We still own his rights at the end of the year, so if we feel like we need to spark a trade, we will. But this is a guy that's not very interested in our organization, and so it's the reality of the situation, and that's what makes this game even more fun. I like the fact that they introduced the contract negotiations and the fact that they have to be a little bit more complex because it brings that realism into the game, and it doesn't necessarily mean you have an easy cop out. Show you guys Ovi. So here he is. I signed him for $4.7 million for just 1 year, and guess what? No clause for that entire season. He's got a 10-team no trade list this year, and that doesn't matter because there's going to be no trading. But for next year, it's going to be important, and his cap hit is going to go down by more than half. So we're getting a lot of cap savings. It's $4.8 million of cap space being saved These are what the lineups look like for your Washington Capitals. So first line of Wilson, Stroman, Protas. It's a +2. Protas is getting to play along with Stroman, Wilson. They're the better overall players over guys like Dubois, Ovechkin, and Leonard. But here's what I like about that second line. It's a +5. It allows for Leonard to play with two guys that are already established at the NHL level. It gives him a shooter to play with, gives him another power forward who can feed him the puck, and he can just go and retrieve that puck in those corners with that spark plug that he has as his X factor. The third line, it's a defensive third line with some secondary scoring, hopefully. David Kampf, however you want to pronounce that, Connor McMichael, and Anthony Beauvillier. Connor McMichael hopefully is going to gain some sort of a shooting X factor, which would be nice. But for right now, at least he's got tape to tape and big tipper, so that means we can use him on the power play, and we're going to get to that in a second. And then on the fourth line, we got the guy that is asking for too much money, along with Brendan Duhaime and Sonny Milano. It is a -1. However, as I start working through the chemistry throughout the year for these guys, it's going to get better, and we're going to see just how big of an effect that has on these players. Now, defensively, this is where things are looking pretty good. You got Chikrin, Sandin, Waugh, Feravari, Van Riemsdyk, Liljegren. So we'll see what happens in this universe. And then Logan Thompson and Charlie Lindgren in net. Hopefully Logan Thompson plays like a Vezina level goalie. If he does, we have a chance. If not, then our chances decrease drastically. Now, at the EHO level, just wanted to make sure that Sortiv, Crystal, Gastrin, Suzdalev, Matejko, Rybinski, Triniev are all playing. Triniev's got low top six potential. He's a power forward. Sortiv is medium top six potential as a two-way forward. Crystal is our left wing what is it, sniper, medium top six potential. Miroshnichenko as well, medium top six potential left wing sniper. Then you got Suzdalev, who's a left wing playmaker, medium top six potential. Gastrin, who's a low top six playmaker at 67 overall, 6'7". Mitejko, 71 overall, high top nine potential as a power forward. So we'll see if that becomes anything. Rybinski, he's more of a guy that is a project. The chances that he becomes an NHL player are not super high. However, if he becomes like a 78, 79 overall player, I can always find a depth spot for him to be up at the NHL level, like playing as the 13th forward every time there's injury. So I wouldn't mind that. Then defensively, of course, Cole Hudson playing on that top pair. We also have this Cam Allen guy who's got medium top six potential. Again, he's also kind of a long shot to make the NHL. However, what is on the side is his age. So if that potential allows him to maybe have a big jump over the next couple of years, get into the 73, 74 overall range after 2 years, then I think he's in good shape. And then in net, you have Jesper Vikman, who of course the Capitals acquired in that trade for Nick Dowd, medium fringe starting potential, and Antoine Keller, who was the guy that represented France at the Olympics. He's got medium fringe starter potential at 69 overall. So in this video, we're just gonna go ahead and take it up until the regular season. We've already done a lot of in-depth talking about certain things, and I'll go over the scouting stuff really quickly with you guys. So we got 2 Russian scouts this year. We got an Allsvenskan scout. We got 2 Liga, 2 SHL, 1 for Ice, 1 for Extra Liga, 1 for NLA, 1 for Dell. The United States of America are fully covered, and then Canada has 2 scouts in the 3 of the major leagues, the OHL, the Q, as well as the W, and we're just going to see how they do. The most important thing when picking out the scouts is you got to look at their accuracy in the region. The higher the accuracy is, the better. Usually don't try to pick out anything less than A minus, and everything A minus or higher is considered good. It actually grows throughout the year as well. So these A's are going to become A pluses. These A minuses are going to become A at some point, with the potential to become A plus. So we'll see what happens, and just looking forward to seeing how the scouting does for us this year. Connor McMichael has accepted our second attempt to re-sign him, and hopefully he plays well for us because we're also paying him $5.5 million to be our third line center. And if it doesn't work out, we always have other options. We're at the start of the regular season for year number one. This is where I'm going to leave things off at. I did not change the coaching staff. I'm just going to show you guys what it looks like. I'm going to keep it for year one. I'm going to reassess after that. We'll see who stays, who goes. Goalie coaches are fine. A and D minus for teaching and coaching influence. So the preseason didn't go all that well. Our goalie struggled, our special teams struggled. A few of our lines were going. I liked what our first line was doing. Our second line was decent as well. Our goalies were all below 900 save percentage. I understand the scoring is higher, but and the league average for save percentage is going to be lower, but we're not even at average still. Hopefully, year one goes as I hope it would, which is we make the playoffs. Because I had a coaching conversation as well before I started this franchise mode with Spencer Carberry. Um, I told him to take care of the team morale, and then I also asked him about what his expectations are for the team. He said he would like for them to make the playoffs. I agreed with that. So hopefully we do make the playoffs because we'll gain XP with him, and I think he'll gain morale. So if that means that he becomes a better coach at the end of the year, which usually what happens, especially if he wins a Jack Adams, it's going to go a long way. I'm not expecting the Stanley Cup. However, I'm expecting a team that should be competitive for the playoffs. Because if you look at the depth on this team, our top nine is very solid. There's no number one threat up there, but we do have X factors and we do have that chemistry. Defensively, we also look solid. There's not a lot of X factors back there, but there's a lot of solid defensemen. And then the net, we have Logan Thompson, we have Charlie Lindgren, two goalies that are capable of being good goalies when they're on. So with all that being said, I'm gonna leave it off here. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future content. Make sure to like this video, share this on all social platforms, and I'll talk to you guys all soon.